Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Push me on through until the battle's won. No one's gonna give nothing to us. Into each other we put our trust. Standing united after the fight is done.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's me, the Ninja Reviewer here. Time for the review of Persona 5 The Animation Episode 3. Going into this week's episode, we find out that the pacing for this episode is actually quite faster than I thought it would be, because I thought they would do a little bit of slowdowns here and there, but it turns out we're finally getting to the real meaty-greedy when it comes to finally infiltrating the Kamishita's heart. So that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about right now. So basically we start off from where the last episode left off, and what happens is that they have to find a way again to actually infiltrate that palace. So what happens is that we have Joker and Skull just trying to find out exactly what's going on when it comes to actually trying to invade these palaces. But even Morgana's like, okay, yes, we do have to explain exactly what's going to happen. So if you do decide to try to change his life and change his personality, there's big consequences that he will have a mental breakdown and he will die. Just like how the news has been reporting about all these ridiculous mental breakdowns, that some of them just can't even function anymore, and some of them just flat out die. So what happens is that Morgana pretty much explains that to the two of them. So it's like, okay, it's a big risky gamble, but this is pretty much what we have to do in order to actually change Kamishita's heart, in order to actually change his heart from what he is now. So what happens is that they have to steal a valuable treasure, and that treasure is hidden within the actual top part of the mansion. But unfortunately, that pretty much, doesn't get resolved, because unfortunately Lady An has actually been caught. But before we get to that, let's talk about the beginning stuff. We find out that Takamaki actually her real name Takamaki, and especially when it comes to her friend, pretty much forced for herself to actually commit suicide, or at least try to jump off to try to kill herself, because the reason why was because of all the abuse that she was taking from Kamishita in order for to pretty much make a deal with him, and pretty much all the stuff has been going on so that way she could stay on the volleyball team and whatnot. Unfortunately, because of that, things don't go the way that she wanted, because she's in a bit of a state of a coma, and Kamishita just doesn't really care. Kamishita's a jerk off, seriously. He is one of the worst jerk offs when it comes to this. I've never hated a character so much like Kamishita. He definitely reminds me of one of those creepers who basically just try to molest young girls and anything else like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and people like him should deserve the worst punishment. And trust me, he will get his just desserts, fair enough, or as we can call it. So basically what happens is that one of the students actually kind of actually had a rundown with Kamishita and all the abuse he was taking. So what happens is that he actually was the one that actually knows about it, and actually was the one that actually barged in with Joker and Skull to actually talk to Kamishita about what has happened. And what it is that Kamishita says, pretty much tries to play it off as saying, sorry, you have no evidence and you have no proof in order to actually find out that I was the one that actually was doing all this. It's pretty much these wild speculations. And I heard about you as one of the new students. And just because of that, since you're making these ridiculous obligations, they're absolutely completely messed up, guess what? You two are going to be suspended from the high school. So what they have to do is find a way to actually fix their expulsion before it's too late, and Joker will have to go to juvenile hall. So the only way to do this is to infiltrate the palace and actually to do that. But unfortunately, things don't go out the way they plan, as Takamaki actually gets caught. She gets caught because she has no persona whatsoever, and Kamishita catches her and actually captures her within her actual throne room. And what happens is that he actually says to her, like, look, it's all your fault. That's pretty much on your hands, that your friend is obviously going to die. Oh, her name is Shio. Oh yeah, that was her name, yeah. Shiho. So her name is Shio, and that's pretty much the best friend of An. Sure, she may not open up to too much to others, but it's technically, she may not have too many friends, but when it comes to pretty much she's pretty much most of the people that she actually talks to. And it's really a shame because of all this, it was actually Joker, the one to be like, hey, are you just going to give up just like that? Are you actually just going to let this douchebag actually run your life or whatever, or just ruin your life whatsoever? Like, no, that's completely messed up. So what happens is that she unlocks her persona after realizing that she shouldn't give up at all. After unlocking her persona, of course Kamishia summons like most of the demons that he has, and unfortunately fails against her, and she was able to actually team up with Skull and Joker, with Morgana of course with the help indeed, to actually defeat part of those demons. And then unfortunately they had to make their escape because they weren't fully prepared as of yet. So Morgana says, wait, let's just retreat for now, and once we're ready we can infiltrate most of this dungeon and finally head over to the final showdown with Kamishia. And once that actually did happen, An is pretty much now part of the team, and after parts of the very end of the credits, we see that there is an actual there's an actual message that looks like it's from the there's a message at the very end of the episode that it turns out that could be possibly something as, you know, a message to Kamishia. What is it exactly? Well, you're gonna have to find out exactly what this is or what this relates to when it comes to Kamishia and them. You're gonna have to relate to that, or these phantom thieves. Like, who are the phantom thieves? Like, who are they exactly? And that's for basically for you to find out once we actually get to the next episode. So about the phantom thieves, a message saying that the phantom thieves are going to take your heart. So who are the phantom thieves and what is this group? You're gonna have to find out exactly in the next episode. So overall, when it comes to this episode, the pacing was actually pretty damn great. The only problem I had is with the battle sequence at the very end when it comes to, you know, pretty much mainly, I would say most of the stuff here is pretty much the same. Nothing really much has changed compared to the other episodes, but they add some extra stuff that weren't from the actual original game. So, you know, it's that to take into consideration too. However, there were the usual animation hiccups that we saw during the actual last final phase of the attack. The animation when it comes to that particular part was not that great. It could have been a lot better, especially when it comes to An's abilities, especially that whole battle sequence in general. Just, you know, when it comes to the animation standard points in that part, could have been more spectacularly better. So because of that, I'm going to give this episode a 4.5 out of 5. Still making it a really great episode regardless. Definitely cannot wait to see next week, because next week is when shit really gets real. And when I mean it gets real, it gets totally real. I'm really hoping that they actually do that scene justice, and I'm talking about the very first boss fight we get in the video game. I really can't wait to see. Hopefully they actually do that scene completely right. Please, A1 Pictures, please try your best. And I know the Blu-rays will probably just remaster it anyway, but yeah, like I said, most of those other scenes just could have been a lot better animated. Everything else when it comes to the regular scenes looked completely fine. It was just that one particular battle scene just could have looked a lot better. Just saying. Other than that though, because of that, I knock it down a bit for a 4.5. And yeah, even though I felt like the pacing was a little bit too fast for me, at least that was the thing, but it shouldn't be a problem for people who don't really play the game, so yeah. Until then, that's basically it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below of this week's episode of Persona 5 The Animation. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, click on the bell to join the squad. Follow my social media plugins and my gamer tags as well. And if you haven't, please join the Plus Ultra Discord if you haven't already. Check it out. You might meet some pretty cool people along the way. Until then, peace, soul, love, chicken grease, and the sky is the limit. MONEYMIKE fans, keep supporting Rich Video What You Watch. And that's it. See ya.